The views expressed on the Nova Society are those of the panelists and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Phoenix Research Institute or any institution which any panel member is associated.
I'd like to welcome everyone back to the Nova Society. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, and I'm here with my panel, Dr. Scott Gershwer and Dr. Mark Bound. And today we will be answering listener emails, and we have a question from Stephanie, who lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Stephanie asks, the Jeffrey Epstein drama continues. Yes, it does. Bondi has a report, but now says it doesn't exist. The number 2 person at the FBI, I believe that's Dan Bongino, is threatening resignation, and there is word that even Kash Patel might resign over this debacle. Hardcore Trumpsters are hard-pressed to justify this scandal, and could something like this be the beginning of the end for the Trump movement? Mark, Scott? Thoughts?
We're thinking.
You're thinking. You're thinking. I believe Bongino and Patel have been coerced and otherwise jollied along back into the fold, at least for the moment.
Well, okay. Yeah, okay.
But the debacle continues with Trump running away from the press, and Trump also said that that Epstein was dead and gone, and that he died in the last 3-4 years, which is not true, and that would put him in Biden's administration, not in 2019, which was in his own administration. And while his administration now, or regime or whatever, is saying that 1 minute is missing from the Epstein jail raw footage, I understand from Wired, a report from Wired, that 3 minutes are missing from the raw footage. So I don't know if that matters or not.
I'm going to pose a different question.
Sure, be my guest.
Should Democrats be involved in this, or should the Democrats just step back and say, let them play this out? This is not on us. This has nothing to do with us.
All right, that's a really good question, because I was looking at the polls the other day for some reason, and although Trump's approval rating is basically going down, and it's going down across the board, even within the Republican Party, the Democrats are not getting more popular. You would expect there to be like a balance there. Trump goes down, Republicans go down, Democrats go up. Which brings you back to the question that a listener asked last week. Could a third party have an opening here? When you're looking at something like that, you got to ask yourself, is that possible? I don't know. But I find it to be a very interesting, dynamic that's going on. There's been a lot of pushback on this, Trump, reneging on releasing all the Epstein files and Bondi. It's on my desk. Now there's nothing there, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't seem to be helping the Democrats in any way at all. So I honestly can't see why they would, Scott. I don't even know how they would approach it to make themselves look better. I just can't see. I can't see it.
Okay.
I guess that's my question. I guess that would be. I don't know.
If I can just interrupt a second. Trump is the one who dragged the Democrats into this in the first place by saying that Hillary Clinton there's this big Democratic cabal, or as Marjorie Taylor Greene called it, a cable. A cabal where there's Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton's on the Epstein list and or the Epstein file, whatever. And Hillary Clinton is a blood drinking cannibal, or there's a big pedophile ring and everything else of Democrats and elites and this and that, and they're running the world, or some sort of
nonsense.
Just absolute nonsense. Yes, that the MAGA people, the conspiracy theorists, believe. And now Trump is saying, well, that if there is anything, Obama wrote this report, or Biden wrote the report, and any MAGA person who believes it when he says there's nothing to any of this is stupid, and he doesn't need their support anymore, and there's nothing to it, and just drop it and forget it, and there never was anything. I mean, Trump began to bring this up when he was running against Hillary Clinton. I mean, obviously, it was simply a chimera to serve Trump's immediate purpose at the time, which was to create this gigantic cabal and blame the Democrats for whatever was expedient, just like they're eating cats and dogs and this, that, and the other. And I, as you say, Mark, I don't know how the Democrats would defend themselves, or how, and I noticed that Democrats are not becoming more popular, but Trump is the one who began this whole gigantic epic saga of nonsense.
But it's not a matter of them having to defend themselves.
Well,
it truly isn't. I mean, okay, so yeah, it's written by this one, that one, and the other. Yeah, I get that. That's the first time we've heard it, because now it's a convenient thing to say. But the fact is that the Democrats, the question is can they make this to their advantage? And as of right now, I can't see how they can do it. I can't see how they can make anything to their advantage. Forget the the minutia of the facts. Forget all that. The fact is that this should be something in the days of our growing up. If this had happened to either party, this would have been the downfall. And I go back to Gary Hart. Somebody sitting on his lap on a boat. I mean, his entire campaign collapsed. I mean, and for those listeners that don't remember, we're talking about the mid-'80s. It collapsed because there was a girl sitting on his lap on a boat, and he looked like he was having a good time. Okay.
It was Jennifer Flowers, if I remember correctly.
I have no idea who. I can't even remember who it was. But the fact is that that's where we say. But they can't even capitalize on that now. So is it the fact that the Democrats can't capitalize anything because they just are not bright enough at this point in time, or is it because the people, the electorate doesn't care? Which could be very, very much what it is. But back to your question, Scott.
Back to my question.
Well, the one you asked,
right? So, look, this has been. I got completely blindsided by this issue because it really didn't matter to me. Like, I've taken it on. It is a matter of faith with me that Trump and Epstein were involved together. That Trump and Epstein, liked really, really young girls, and I'll throw in the third member of that which is John Casablancas, the guy who came up with the concept of the supermodel and had the elite modeling agency. I think somebody posed a really good question, which is, why would a 45-year-old real estate developer all of a sudden be interested in beauty pageants for young girls? And I think in 1991, when he and when Trump and Epstein were palling around together, that Trump, was really interested in very young girls. And we've seen this time and time again. So it didn't. So I sort of thought that was all baked into the cake, and his followers knew that he was involved, but they do the whataboutism thing and say, well, Bill Clinton was involved too. And then the whole QAnon part of this, which was the adrenochrome that Brooke was talking about before with Hillary Clinton, that people wanted to, pedophiles were getting adrenochrome from children from drinking their blood or whatever it is. And it was all just like more and more nonsense, right? So I just kind of dismissed it. I was like, okay, this is just not a thing, right? I mean, Epstein probably was murdered in his jail cell. I'm just gonna say that, what, why would he commit suicide? It's not, he's a wealthy guy. He's gonna have the best lawyers in the world. He's gonna probably get away with a slap on the wrist. He probably wouldn't kill himself. Again, taking this all in stride as these rich bastards get away with everything. And so I really didn't see this coming. I think is my main point. I didn't see that the American electorate, and it's like 85% or something like that, 89% of Republicans are outraged by this, like not disclosing it. And Jamie Raskin was asked, why didn't Merrick Garland disclose it? And he was like, I can't really speak for Merrick Garland, but again, I don't think it was a thing in the circles that I travel in. This was not a thing. But obviously, this has been percolating under the surface on the other half of the country. And this is like a really big deal. And I don't watch Fox News, so I've never seen Kash Patel and Don Bongino getting up there and saying, yeah, we got to release. I've seen the clip since all this came out, JD Vance saying we've got to release the Epstein files and get the list of people who were going to his island and all that stuff. And it seems really like strikes me as a reckless thing to do, because Donald Trump is one of those people. But apparently they were blindsided by this. And they're outraged now. I mean, the numbers are incredible. Now, I think the bigger question is, what is Trump going to do? How horrible a thing is Trump going to do to wag the dog on this one? Who is he going to bomb to get this off the front pages? Who is he going to, what atrocity is he going to commit to get his base to move on from this so they can get back to defending every stupid thing that he does? And, I'm guessing that he's going to do something. My take on it is that Democrats should do the minimum. All they need to do is goose this along a little bit. That's all. They don't need to get up and grandstand. They don't need to demand seeing Ghislaine Maxwell testify. Leave that to the Republicans. Leave that to Tom Massey, who's going to do that. Leave that to Norman, who was the one who voted against Trump on this issue. Leave it to those guys to make this a continued issue, and just goose it along so that it's never off the headlines, because this is gold. And no, it doesn't help Democrats, but it hurts them. It divides them, and that is worth its weight in gold.
Right. And I think this is a case of the chickens have come home to roost.
Yeah.
Trump's entire persona in the manosphere and in his running for office has been conspiracy theories. It all started, if we think back, it all started with the birther. Obama's not, it all started there. That was great conspiracy theory. And then he came up with a whole bunch of other conspiracy theories, which got people, involved. Well, I got news for you, Donnie. This is a great conspiracy theory, and you're not feeding that conspiracy theory group, the QAnon morons, you're not feeding the red meat that they desire. They want to hear that the Republicans were out there, drinking the blood of children and all that. They want to hear that. And I'm sorry if this report basically says that you're a pedophile. I'm sorry, but that's the way it works. And now and I think that's why they're outraged, because it's almost like, tonight we'll be watching Honey Boo Boo at 8:00. Oh, by the way, we've been preempted by Heidi. Sort of like the football game. I mean, they're not getting what they want and what they need. And he has built his reputation. He has built his base on conspiracy theories. This is a big one. I mean, this is a big one. And now he can't produce. He can't use it. And I agree with you, Scott. He's going to do something. He's got to get their little tiny minds off of this stuff so that he can move on.
Yeah, well, that's why suddenly we're back to fentanyl, and suddenly we're back to firing Jerome Powell.
Sugar and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and it's interesting that I was looking at some of the stuff that Pam Bondi did with the Epstein report, phase 1, with this big file and this big beamy smile on her face, and it turned out to be just publicly available documents, and there was really nothing in there. And people were the influencers who had been invited to the White House with this promise of a big reveal and secret knowledge, and they were disappointed. And Trump has, unfortunately for him, and fortunately for the rest of us, I woefully misunderstood that the point that you can't simply turn off a conspiracy theory once that has taken root, because that's how people think, and that's how he has trained them to think, and he's been training his group to think that way for well over a decade, 15 years or something. And now all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm so disappointed in my boys and girls, or whatever language he used, which infantilizes his very most faithful. And then he says, well, I don't need you. And if you're not going to just believe everything I say, and some people will still try to vouch for him and say, well, Trump, he's been co-opted by the deep state, or he must be being blackmailed, or something has happened and he wouldn't be treating us this way. The same thing as the German people made excuses for Hitler. Well, he obviously doesn't know what's going on, because if he did, he wouldn't allow it, with the murdering and the genocide of all the Jews and everybody else. Anything to make excuses for their dear beloved leader. And others are going to say, you know what, forget it. You don't want me around to support you. That's fine. I'm not going to support you. But that doesn't automatically, as you say, translate into support for Democrats. That probably translates into not voting at all, perhaps.
Which works. That
yes,
works.
It does. It does. And I don't believe that Trump is going to be able to turn people's attention away from this. I mean, he and Epstein, they were supposed to actually be friends. I mean, actually really friends. And to hear, I found that quite shocking, that oh, he's dead and gone. This was supposed to be his friend.
Oh, so here, Brooke, I'm sorry, that's naive.
Trump is naive. He doesn't have
I know
friends. That. I know
he has transactions, and that's all it was.
That Trump didn't have any friends, and to me, I just it's obvious in the way he talks. So anybody who is supporting him, and anybody in MAGA who is supporting him, still supporting him, the moment you are no longer any of our listeners or listeners' friends or whatever, this should be an object lesson. The moment you have a thought of your own and say, hey, wait a minute, I was expecting something and you didn't deliver, you're out. You're no longer a true MAGA person. You never were a real MAGA person. You're obviously one of those people. You're whatever. And you're ignorant, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. You're out. I don't need you anymore. I don't want you anymore. And you're supposed to change your mind, of course, because you want to be in the MAGA group still and belong.
Actually, I don't think it's the MAGA group that they want to be in. I think they want to be in the conspiracy group. They want to be with the conspiracy group. MAGA just seems to be part of that.
Okay.
That just seems to be part of it. So my comment to the question that was asked by the listener is, do we think that this is the downfall? I think he's going to have a hard time making some sort of a comeback with those conspiracy group people. As I say, chickens have come home to roost. This is what they want. You are not providing it. I mean, this is the group that actually showed up in Dallas to see JFK Jr. make his comeback and become, I don't know, whatever he was going to do with Trump. This is that group. This is the group that believes all this crap. And this is what they are. And you have just taken away a really juicy piece of conspiracy theory and said it doesn't exist after talking about it for a very long time. And now your chickens have come home to roost. And I think that is...
And making promises.
Right.
Promises. But I don't think that Trump cares.
No, he doesn't.
So this is not going to be the end of him because he's not going to care.
Well, it may be the end of him.
but he's not going to care, and he's not going to allow
I don't
it.
care if he cares. I could care less if he cares if it's the end of him. All I care is that it is the end of him.
But I don't know if it will be.
I mean, I'm kind of simple on that one.
Yeah, but I don't know if it will be. I don't know if it will be, because if he can hold enough power over his
we don't know that yet. Right
Congress.
now, the answer is no. Right now, he doesn't. Look at all the people talking against him. The Manosphere, Joe Rogan, all those people now talking against him. I mean,
Alex Jones,
he's still getting permission from the Supreme Court to dismantle this and dismantle that.
They're not part of his base.
Right.
No, but they're still allowing this. I mean, I recognize it's the shadow docket and the rocket docket and that type of thing, but he is still deporting people. He's still saying, you don't get due process, you don't get this, you don't get that. And the more, as you say, Scott, and Mark, both of you, and I agree, and I've been worrying about this, the more Trump is challenged and turned against, the more he is going to grind everybody else beneath his heel.
Well, again, we're going to have to see. But
the more we should all be speaking out.
Well, and that's what everybody's doing, even his base, which is good.
Yes. Yeah. So
now they may be speaking out about all the wrong things, but hey, at least they're speaking out. What do you got, Scott?
Well, I mean, it occurs to me that Marsha Blackburn, during the campaign, said that Trump needed to we needed to elect Donald Trump president because he was going to release more information on Epstein and the child sex trafficking ring. Senator Mike Lee called for Americans to vote for Trump specifically because Americans deserve to know why Epstein didn't kill himself. Even J.D. Vance, at that point a U.S. senator, not the vice president or even the vice presidential, I think not even the vice presidential candidate, said that they need to release these files. So the more these prominent Republicans, right, elected officials, continue to jump into this thing, the more it's going to have legs, and the more Democrats need to just kind of fade into the woodwork and let this play out. As soon as, so he's going to, he's going to do something horrible. I think we probably all agree that he will wag the dog. He's accused other people of doing it. Every accusation is a confession. He's going to wag the dog. He's going to, I'm going to guess right now, I'm going to predict that he bombs Yemen in a big way. Yemen has made him look almost as foolish, I think, as Putin has. And he's not going against Putin in a big way, but he will go against the Houthis, right? So just to clarify what I mean by this, Trump announced a ceasefire with the Houthis on May 6th. And he said that they've capitulated and they're not going to be blowing up any ships anymore. But on July 6th, Houthi gunmen got onto a ship, intercepted a ship, got on it, rigged it with explosives, and sank it. The next day, or 2 days later, I think, or the next day, they started shooting missiles at another ship. They killed 9 soldiers out of the 25 there, and they kidnapped 6 of them and brought them back to Yemen with them. They're making Trump look like a moron. And the leader of the Houthis said on one of those Arab television networks that more attacks are coming. So he's got an opening now. He's got something that he can do to distract his base from this and expect a big response in Yemen by Trump to try to get this off the headlines. I can't think of anything else he would do other than fire Jerome Powell, which might get a few people off it, but probably wouldn't be enough. It's not violent enough to get his base not to pay attention to this stuff. It's got to be something really big for them to rally around him again. So that's my prediction. Brooke, I just want to clarify that Jennifer Flowers was Bill Clinton's mistress and Donna Rice was
Donna Rice. That was her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I knew there was a Jennifer Flowers in there.
You gotta know your Democratic mistresses.
That's right. You gotta. We'll send you a program, and they'll have numbers on her back. So you know Rice. Yeah, Rice. That's right.
Donna Rice.
All right. Well, I think you beat that one to death.
Thank you.
Oh,
yes, and thank you both, and thank you to our listener for your question, and thank you to everyone for listening. And if you are not yet a subscriber, please do subscribe on the platform of your choice. We really appreciate that, and subscribing is free. We do look forward to your support, and we appreciate your support throughout the years. Do stay with us on the Nova Society. Send us your questions and comments, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.
The Nova Society is a production of Nova Society Media, a division of the Phoenix Research Institute. We'd like to thank our production partners, Buzzsprout, who hosts the Nova Society, Audacity, our editing partners, Apple iTunes, the largest source of podcasts and music on the internet, Spotify, the most popular platform for the Nova Society, and iHeartRadio, your source for all things music and podcasting. The Nova Society is available on all of these and other quality platforms listed in our description. We'd also like to thank all of our listeners. Without your support, the Nova Society would not be possible. If you have a question or comment, we can be reached at nova.society.podcast@gmail.com. So for Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, Dr. Scott Gershwer, and all of our production partners here at the Nova Society, I'm Dr. Mark Bound. Remember, the true power in society is knowledge. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next time. We'd like to thank our sponsor for this episode, BH Conflict Resolution Services, a full-service dispute resolution firm offering expert, cost-effective mediation services to couples, groups, and businesses. BHCRS can be reached at www.bhcrs.com.